is Digivation Network.
Hello and welcome to the program Digivation Network, your lead to the digital ecosystem. I am Adaze Okiaine, standing in for the regular anchor, Bayo Agabi. Remember, you can be part of the show by subscribing to our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Digivation Network, and follow us on our social media handles displayed on your screen.
This is Digivation Network.
In this edition, we consider the new mobile banking service charge for the unstructured supplementary service data, popularly called ussd, recently mandated by the Central Bank of Nigeria and Nigeria Communications Commission, NCC. But before this, let's take a look at the issues that made news during the week.
Hello, I am Bayero Agabi. Welcome you to this new ride, a digital ride that takes you into the lifestyle experience of innovation, tech impact, and new business frontiers. This is Digivation Network. On a weekly basis, we keep you well informed of developments and trends. Now the tech ecosystem is impacting politics, business, public and private enterprise management, plus how the new digital life can transform your business. I am Bayero Agabi. Join us.
As technology evolves, its integration with our everyday lives continue to expand, making our lives easier, helping us more effective at work, and enhancing connection with our family and friends around the world. However, often with rapid change, there is a cost, and so far often, relationships are suffering owing to the effects of technology and how it dominates our lives. Speaking on the impact of technology on relationships, world-renowned relationship expert and author Dr. Gildo Cow, in a chat with Digivation Network, highlighted phone addiction as a major issue amongst couples today.
Because people think that they are married to their telephones. And I have had to counsel couples who have gone to sleep. One person goes to sleep with the phone. And that's the last person, it's not really a person, but that's the last connection that person has for the day.
Whoa.
It's like three people are in the relationship. Him, her, and the telephone. And so many couples come to me and say, all she does or all he does is sit like this, and talk to the phone. And without eye contact, there's no listening. Without listening, your partner feels you don't care. So a lot of tension is created and a lot of people split apart over the stupid telephone.
While acknowledging the importance of technology, Dr. Cow also advised couples that its use must be discussed among couples in order to have a better relationship.
Communication is the most beautiful thing you can have in a relationship. And while technology is phenomenal, it also needs to be discussed. Like when I go home, when I go to sleep, what am I going to do now? How are we going to have sleeping patterns? How are we going to communicate? Is the technology going to be a third party with whom you're cheating? You see, that's the thing. And when you say there are three people in this marriage, you, me, and your cell phone, and I don't like that too much. Now, how can you say that nicely so your honey can understand, uh-oh, I better do something about this if I want to keep this fabulous woman or fabulous man?
The unstructured supplementary service data, USSD, is a vital facility offered banks by telecoms operators to the public to aid financial inclusion and facilitate prompt financial transactions. Over the years, there has been protracted dispute between mobile network operators, MNOs, and deposit money banks, DMBs, over service charge for the use of the USSD. But the recent timely intervention by the CBN and NCC just may be the turning point for all concerned stakeholders. Following years of disputes between the banks and telcos on the payment of USSD transactions, the Nigerian Communications Commission and the Central Bank on the 16th of March 2021 finally got to a resolution which will see end users pay a charge of 6.98 naira on every USSD transaction. This resolution has met with mixed reactions by Nigerians who utilize the service.
If this is going to be at an extra cost, like for example, if I want to buy an 100 naira airtime and I need to pay 7 naira extra, it's going to affect my account balance. And you know how many times people, the average transaction per day for anybody on USSD minimum is 4 to 5 times per day. And let's say 5 times 7, approximately 7, that's 35 naira, and that is per day. 35 naira times 7, then times 4 times 12, that is putting a huge load on the consumers, and I believe is going to have a huge setback on the rate at which financial inclusion is being achieved in Nigeria.
Engineer Gbenga Adebayo, the chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecommunication Operators of Nigeria, has said the 6.98 charge is indeed the best charge option for Nigeria, and blamed complaints on the part of consumers to lack of proper information.
Consumers will complain if they don't have the right information, because in some fora, the banks have denied that they are not charging anything for USSD services. We have that information. But the street report says something to the contrary, and that is that common USSD transfer today, some banks charge as high as 10 naira. USSD transfer between account A and account B, some banks charge as much as 20 naira for transfer. The impression we were given is that banks are not supposed to charge for USSD transfer because it's a non-banking service. But be that as it may, at 698 kobo, one-off transaction is all inclusive. And so on the long run, the users should be made to understand that instead of paying A plus B in times past, meaning pay a session or USSD transaction to your operator and another B part to the banks, we have now collectively agreed that it will be one fee, one rate that will be charged. The banks will not charge anything beyond the 698 kobo. So on the long run, actually, it's cheaper for the users.
On the concern raised by consumers for still being charged for failed USSD transactions, Engineer Gbenga Adebayo had this to say.
It depends at what time the transaction fails. Sometimes it's failing at the bank end. If it fails at the operator's end, meaning that this connection is not successful, we are not going to charge the operator. But if the service is delivered to the bank and it fails at the bank end, it will be recognized on the metering system of the bank. So the bank has to decide whether that is a chargeable connection or not a chargeable connection. So, but certainly at the operator's end, if the link is not established, there is no basis for metering, and they will not be charged. But if the failure happens at the bank end, this is it's a link between servers. If server A is checking out with server B, if it fails at the bank end, we have no control over that. And the bank has to decide whether that's a chargeable link or chargeable transaction or not.
Engineer Gbenga also called to question the morality of the banks for their refusal to pay for services rendered by the telcos for the USSD operations, which have amounted to a whopping sum of 42 billion naira.
I think to the banks, there's a moral question they need to answer on this issue of outstanding that we're talking about. 42 billion outstanding in debt. They enjoy the service. Why is it a problem for them to pay? They receive the money from the subscribers, from the users. They took the money directly from the customer's account. So what is it a problem to pay the operators? They have a moral question there to answer. While an argument has it that they don't charge for USSD, because we are told that USSD is not supposed to be a chargeable service by the banks because it's a non-core financial service. But the field report, what we hear from people like all of you, suggests that when you do ussd transactions, which is not supposed to be a non-core banking service, you get charged for it. So if that assertion is correct, what is the moral basis on which the bank will enjoy this service, resources provided by the telecom operators, accruable over the period of time, and the banks today will argue that this money is not to be paid. So I think that's a moral question the banks have to answer there. The second is that the banks need to also be more transparent in what they are charging the users. I ask you today, how much does your bank charge you and for what do they charge you? Can you answer me in the affirmative for all the services? Can you? Most likely no. So yes. The question then is, all of these charges for this, for that, they should not make it look like now they are going to receive 998 kobo on behalf of the operator and pay to them, and that they are doing us a service by doing that. The answer is no.
The 6.98 charge on ussd transactions commenced on the 16th of March 2021. The CBN and NCC have promised to continue to engage relevant operators and stakeholders to promote cheaper, seamless access to mobile and financial service for all.
This is Digivation Network.
To watch more of the interview on the new ussd charge as mandated by CBN and NCC, you can log on to www.youtube.com/Digivation Network. If you've just joined us, you're still watching Digivation Network. For details, join us via our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Digivation Network.
Hello, I am Bayero Agabi, welcoming you to this new ride, a digital ride that takes you into the lifestyle experience of innovation, tech impact, and new business frontiers. This is Digivation Network. On a weekly basis, we keep you well informed of developments and trends. Now the tech ecosystem is impacting politics, business, public and private enterprise management, plus how the new digital life can transform your business. I am Bayero Agabi. Join us.
This is Digivation Network.
Coming up is our top 5s, which features the top 5 things we miss about the 80s with Gideon Tobiloba.
Hello guys, I welcome you to this entertaining edition of the Top 5s. I'm Gideon Tobiloba. Today's episode promises to be very entertaining as I'll be giving you something I'm more than sure you will enjoy. Today's show is going to be a blast from the past as I'll take you back to the 1980s, the era of disco music, kasabubu, and lots of cool plotting. This is going to be a wonderful opportunity to have a feel of the 1980s as I bring you the top 5 things we miss about the 80s. I'll be going from number 5 to number 1, and standing on my number 5 is the childhood games we played in the 80s. We had lots of local games like 10-10, skipping rope, suwe, flying kites, police and thief, catcher, after round 1, tinko tinko, boju boju, island ball, OGO, and many others. From childhood games on number 5, we go to number 4, which is cheap foods. Back then, it can be said that food was kind of cheap and very affordable to feed thrice in a day. I remember eating well in the morning before going to school and still getting some money to buy lunch for myself during break. Our parents don't have to work around the clock, to give us a good and a very average life, unlike now. I tell you, things have changed. Enough on foods. Let's proceed to the next one, which is music on number 3. The 80s were the good old groovy years when it comes to music. They say variety is a spice of life, and so it was with the music back then, unlike now where most of our songs in Nigeria have a somewhat monotonous sound. Then we enjoyed beautiful music from legends like Fela, King Sunny Ade, Majek Fashek, Sonny Okosun, Sashina Peters, Chris Okotie, Mike Okri, Onyeka Oweno, Oritz Wiliki, Charlie Boy, Chris Esiani Bokwe, Brachim Ezesa, Victor Olaya, Raskimono, and many, many more. Now, talking about what stands at my number 2 of what we miss most about the 80s, that's our darling football teams. Well, the Super Eagles was a source of great joy and unity anytime they played. Players that donned the green jersey back then were like soldiers ready to die, representing the country. The 80s marked the rise of the Super Eagles at the continent as we won our first ever major trophy, the 1980 Nations Cup, which we also hosted. Players like Christian Chukwu, Segun Odegbami, Best Ogedengbe, Mohamed Lawal, Felix Owolabi, Ifeanyi Oyedika, and other interesting legends helped win the prestigious trophy. All right, from there we go to number 1 thing we miss about the 80s. Or do you want to guess? Okay, I'm waiting. Well, to save you the stress is the numerous soap operas and TV dramas we had on TV. In the 80s, we had very solid TV plays that still will sell today. Even though back then there was no sophisticated cameras as we have now, they still give us the very best with the available equipment. We had very interesting and educative TV dramas like The Village Headmaster, Kokoro Adan, Behind the Clouds, Things Fall Apart, New Masquerade, and many others. These dramas enjoyed a national audience and many still wish they can see it today. This is how we call it today. If you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please do so now to get notifications of our many other programs. Until next time I come your way, I remain yours sincerely, Gideon Tobiloba. Peace.
And now to a special one, DG Finds. As part of Digivation Network's interest in finding and showcasing young talents, irrespective of what they specialize in, we bring to you a young boy that is striving hard to become an artist. He's a student of University of Ibadan, studying arts and design. Let's meet Prince Pot as he responds to the recent success of Nigerian artists on the international stage. After which we join our guest of the week, Dr. Vincent Olatunji. He is the Director of E-Government Development and Regulations.
So my life started in the 90s, 2-3 December, almost many things, my guy, many things to remember. I was born with 2 stars, I did draw, I did sing. Never realized until I was 3. Okay, back then in the church at a little age, holding the mic, speaking. Everybody expected, Burna Boy to come out big, and it's actually happened. And Whiskey too, Whiskey actually surprised everyone with that award too. Please hear me out. Papa sat me down, son, focus on your book. For you to achieve the dreams, focus on your book. So I took it as a challenge just to make my daddy proud. But deep within, man, the energy leaves. 2011, daddy passed away. Oh, what a loss. Yeah. Really, really hurts me bad, don't want no. A lot of stuff have been going on the social media concerning Wizkid, Burna Boy, and Davido. The beefing and the whole argument is basically from the fans. I don't think the men in question have any issue with themselves, because even Davido tweeted it and he said that in any way it happens that the Grammy Award is actually for Africa and it's for his people, and he stated it's too late to Nigeria and everyone should be at peace, because every win that Burna Boy has made and Wizkid too, that is for Nigeria and Nigeria at large. My bro, you a fucking loser, but I know they give them chance, I know they take their word, I had to focus, my bro, I'm a strict hustler. Many steps where I take just to make some sound, many nights where I born just to make a hit. I be paid for school, wasted the go studio, sit down my friend, you will lose your job. I'm no saying, I see they go, cause I believe say one day I'm all light go show. I'm a sinner for Instagram and they tag them every day and night. I beg, give me an audience, make I prove myself. They say no. So I say a very big thank you to Burna Boy and a very big thank you to Wizkid. But I don't see reasons why bloggers and fans should also create a huge scene about it, because if you really want to thank Burna Boy for making an impact or thank Wizkid for making an impact, I don't think you need to mention David's name in it. It really gives me hope, ultimate joy whenever I watch your shows. Bro, I really love you so. Well, it inspires me because I know that I can also attain that high because Burna Boy too has made it clear. He has said it that if you believe, you can actually achieve. And if you also, it doesn't matter of your race, it doesn't matter of your color, no matter what you do, you just have to stay to tight to the hustle, and definitely hustle will pay.
In enhancing government service and ensuring developmental regulations, Digivation Network had a chat with Dr. Vincent Olatunji, the Director in Government Development and Regulations. He is our guest of the week.
And encourage the adoption and effective deployment of ICT for service delivery in all federal government MDAs, and in addition we are doing for states and local governments as well. We are also involved in the capacity building of public servants, because you can't say you want to effectively deploy ICT without effective capacity building. So we are involved in building capacity of officers of the federal government of Nigeria, especially at the director of CECAD, the level of PAMSEX, and very senior government officials. With the global pandemic, the new order now, the new rule now is work from home or work from wherever you are. You don't have to see physically before you interact, before you work. And we have tried as much to ensure that government business will run 24/7, no matter what. But that depends on the kind of capacity you have, the kind of infrastructure you have, the kind of the processes that you have even put in place. And this, to a large extent, has brought out a lot of things that we need to do. But on our part, in that, what we have done, for instance, when the lockdown started, we did something for startups, which was to, one, issue passes to them to be able to move, to be able to go around, to be able to go to their homes, their offices, to be able to do their business. This is for those in the IT sector. The sector has not been classified as one of the essential services which governments or which people are rendering in the country. So we were able to achieve that during the lockdown. Two, we also did what we called COVID-19 Innovation Challenge. We were trying to look for talents, homegrown solutions that can address specific problems emanating from COVID-19. We look at the area of health sector, we have education, look at the kind of infrastructure we have. We opened the challenge, and we had over 1,500 entries, which we scaled down to 140-something. Eventually, we had 15 finalists, out of which we selected the top 3, and we already discussed with them how to fully develop their solutions and possibly work with relevant government agency for deployment. I'll look at the measurable milestones in terms of, one, the regulatory instruments that we were able to issue. As at last week, I would say we've issued over 15 regulatory instruments to guide the sector on what to do, how to do, the standards, the guidelines, and stuff like that. Two, we have registered thousands of government domains, and this has, to a large extent, increased our identity in the cyberspace, whereby you don't see too many government organizations now now using open domain. We now have an identity which is .ng domain, which we usually do with federal MDAs. We register them, we register states, we register local governments in this agency. That is one thing that we have done again. Then, in addition to that, we have involved ourselves in building capacity. That is, top government officials, directors, PAMSECs, CEOs of government MDs. We have engaged them severally. We have built capacity of over 500 top government officials to introduce them to ICT, to introduce them to the Nigeria e-government master plan, to introduce them to what is called e-governance. What are we doing? The e-governance. To introduce them to how to enhance government digital service delivery. These are things that we are doing to ensure that we appropriately deploy ICT in the country. So in terms of milestone, we have issued more than 15 guidelines. We have built capacity of over 500 government MDs. We have registered several domains to improve our identity in the cyberspace, and we have organized several awareness workshops. Also, the NAFSA that I mentioned, that is Greek, which is under our Smart Initiative regulatory instrument. That one too we have done, and we are empowering over 150 farmers now, and this is going to increase in the years to come. In addition to that, the Nigeria Data Protection Regulation is one major thing that we have implemented in the country, and that has created over 2,000 jobs between when we issued it in January last year and now. And it is a multi-billion-dollar sector which we have created on its own too. So these are some of the things that I say are major milestones which we have achieved in the department and the agency at large.
That's all we can take on the show for this week. You can reach us on www.youtube.com/Digivation Network. On behalf of our regular anchor, Bayo Agabi, thanks for watching. I am Adaze Okeanine. Till next time.